Good morning, everyone. It is 7 o'clock. Welcome to CW Iowa Live. Lou and Jackie here.
Good morning.
And boy, how things have changed since we last had a chance to visit, Jackie.
Absolutely. Yeah. We have our complete We Are Iowa team working for you this morning as we're going to continue to give you local coverage of the devastation that happened yesterday here in central Iowa. Let's take a look at this video here with a tornado that was rolling through Marshalltown. You can see it making its way through, and this was taken by someone staying at the new Holiday Inn right off the interstate. But that's just one of the situations that we're going to be covering this morning. So we want to go right out to Taylor Knust, who is hanging out in Marshalltown this morning and giving us an idea of what people are waking up to this morning.
Looks like a war zone.
Good morning, Lou and Jackie. Yeah, it's quite a mess here in downtown Marshalltown, no doubt about it. We drove in from the southwest part of town. No damage at all, but once you get into this center square, boy, it is an absolute mess. I'll kind of step out of frame real quick so you can get an idea of the damage. Brick buildings that have been here for decades crumbled to the ground. So this is one of the hardest hit buildings that was struck by this tornado that rolled through around 4:30, 4:45 yesterday afternoon. We do not know how strong this tornado was just yet. The National Weather Service will be conducting a damage survey later on today, and those results should be released either later today or tomorrow at the latest. We suspect it was probably in that EF2, EF3 range, so a pretty significant storm for sure. I do want to bring in Justin Foss. He's with Alliant Energy, and Justin, what's the situation right now? How many are without power?
So right now we went from about 10,000 without power to around 7,000 without power. We also have about 5,000 without gas service here in Marshalltown.
Okay. And do you anticipate that number will drop drastically today, or is it hard to know at this point?
I'm not going to say drastically. Okay. It's going to come in spurts, right? We just get parts of the system back on. I think the big thing here in Marshalltown and the other communities where you had this massive tornado damage is buildings and homes. They're going to need to have structural repairs before they're ready to take power.
Okay. And was downtown the hardest hit area? Was it the north side of town? Was there any area in particular that you know?
Yeah, you know, the whole north side of Marshalltown sustained some pretty heavy damage. Our power system in the north side of town got whacked pretty bad. So we've got about 500 poles that we expect we're going to have to replace. So this is going to be a long-term job.
Okay. All right, Justin, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. There you have it. That's just one of many things that have to be cleaned up here. These historic buildings that received extensive damage, that's going to take time to rebuild. So this is day one of many of the cleanup efforts here in Marshalltown, and we'll be thinking of all the folks here that were affected by the storm yesterday afternoon. For now, reporting live in Marshalltown, I am Taylor Knust, CW Iowa Live.
Yeah, and as you could probably guess, it hit some of the media outlets in Marshalltown as well. Kix 101 and its sister station, their tower was folded in half.
Yeah,
Ton Steinkamp was in communication with him about 3 o'clock this morning, and they were just getting up and going, and that's a lifeline for people that are in Marshalltown, or those two radio stations, so they should be up on power on generator right now, so they are doing their best to get back to full speed.
Well, that was just one of the communities that was hit yesterday. We're now going to go live with Elias, who is in the Bondurant area, and we're going to continue to see devastation behind you, Elias.
Yeah, it all got started here yesterday, and the good news is recovery process has started. There are a number of insurance adjusters on the ground here going door to door for their customers to try to start that recovery phase. But that's enough looking at me. I just want to show you what it looks like here. I'm going to jump behind the camera to give you perspective as to just how bad this was. So the Polk County Sheriff's Office, you can see out here controlling traffic. This is 2nd Street Northwest shut down. That's supposed to be a 2-story building. And you begin to start to understand just how powerful it was when you look up, and all that's left of the 2nd story are the toilets from the bathrooms. Can you imagine the force it must have had to actually take that toilet out of the ground, leaning on its back like that? And that's all that's left. The 2nd story is completely gone from this home. And as we come back out here and pan over to the right, you can see the street closed down, but that's a huge established tree that's now down here along the road, right along Mallard Point Drive Northwest. And right beyond that tree is an RV trailer that's resting in the front of a home. You can see the air conditioning unit on the top of that RV trailer. And that's the scenario as you look up and down the street. You can see that the recovery phase has begun. That gentleman coming back home now. The front of that garage has been painted to show that there were nobody inside. They did the sweeps last night. And then the next part is the debris piles. Folks have already started to clean up out here. But it's a sad morning for a number of folks here in Bondurant as they are kind of looking around wondering what to do next. And it's going to be a long, busy day all the way up and down the street here. It is busy, and there are a number of piles just like this. These are people's memories. These are people's homes lying around the street here. And it's hard to even tell what it belonged to, other than shingles and some sheet metal there. So that is the story here in Bondurant. This street is still closed. Now, some good news is that the gas leak that was at a residential home along 2nd Street Northwest has been contained at a residence there. So that's the good news. And they're going to keep this shut down, though, and keep traffic from coming from Orr-Labor Road is what you would take to exit and come east. And just to show you here, there are a number of people still trying to get through, and it's a major thoroughfare off I-35 east of Bondurant, and really nowhere to go for these folks. Looks like he's hauling some grain there and finding out he's going to have to take another route. So I just wanted to give you that update here in Bondurant. We'll be out on scene here for the next few hours just to kind of look things over as they start the cleanup process. Live for CW Iowa Live, I'm Elias Johnson, sending it back to you.
That is absolutely frightening. That's the other side of the interstate, Jackie, from where my house is. And the surprising thing is, where we live, not one drop of rain.
Well, that's the incredible thing. Unless you're in those specific areas, we showed you Marshalltown, Bondurant, also Pella taking a huge hit yesterday. I was taking a nap. I had no idea any of this was going on until my phone started dinging, and people were just posting like crazy. And we appreciate everything that's been coming in. We want to make sure everyone's staying safe out there. That's the primary thing. But absolutely unbelievable.
We were at Camp Sunnyside
That's right.
At 2:30, right when this storm was going over, and it was dark clouds. And then next thing you know, there's a Polk County Sheriff's officer there saying we need to evacuate the beach area because we were doing the regatta for Easter Seals, Iowa, and they told us where it was, and it was already past us, so we didn't have to evacuate. But it went right over us, and it was just dark clouds.
You just thought it was a storm.
It just came out of nowhere, like Taylor mentioned yesterday morning. He said it could just be created out of nothing. Yeah.
Well, let's find out more because we have our chief meteorologist in this morning, Brad Edwards, who can maybe explain a little bit more about what happened yesterday. Good morning, Brad. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, Jackie and Lou. I tell you what, we had some incredible weather, and yeah, they were explosive. You're exactly right. We were watching the radar, nothing going on at 2 o'clock, 2:15, and then 2:30 they cross over I-35 just over the side of Ankeny, east of Ankeny, and then they hit Bondurant. So literally within having nothing on the radar to about 30 minutes later, we had a tornado on the ground, just devastating Bondurant. And then, of course, it hit Marshalltown as well. 26 reports of tornadoes. Maybe we had 26 tornadoes, maybe not, but they're going to survey that damage. And you can see we had a lot of, these are all reports of tornadoes, including the last one down around Ottumwa, which didn't really cause much damage. It's going to be fairly quiet out there today. And I want to go back and mention, we saw that video of the top floor being ripped off of the house that Elias was showing. That's why we tell you to go to the lowest floor. Even if you don't have a basement, get down and get low, because the top floor is usually the first to go. Today we got scattered showers out there, a lot of clouds wrapping around. We got clouds here in the metro right now, so it is going to be a cloudy start, but I do expect more sunshine and warmer temperatures as we go through the day. Temperatures will gradually warm up, the clouds will break up. One thing that's going to be with us all day is the breeze. It's going to be a breezy day, northwest winds 10 to 20, gusting even higher at times. And then we're going to have a pretty nice weekend, guys. We got temperatures in the low to mid 80s here. Humidity not bad, but that means no rain. So as you were saying, Lou, we got no rain out of the situation here in the metro for the most part. We will not see much rain until maybe a week from today. We've got about a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms. So that's your 10-day tracker. Let's go back to Jackie and Lou.
All right, so it's still amazing. Again, weather is obviously the big story here in the state of Iowa right now. So thank you, Brad Edwards, for coming in and stepping in for Taylor. He's out in Marshalltown and Elias and Bondurant right now. G&L Clothing brought you the weather forecast here this morning. Stop on over. You need some clothing to keep you nice and cool. They have everything you need on sale to 25% off. G&L Clothing, 1801 Ingersoll. And they always help out in situations like this too. So we'll see what Frank and the gang does to give some assistance.
Yeah, a lot of community members and businesses will be stepping up in the next few days roadways. Our thoughts and prayers to everyone that was involved in the devastation yesterday. Really quickly want to hit traffic because we do have an accident here in the metro that we want to talk about to keep you informed on everything that's happening outside. So taking a live look of what's happening outside, of course, in West Des Moines, not a whole lot right now as we have dry roadways and not a whole lot of traffic on the roadways. But if you go a little bit further west, we do have an accident report on University Avenue at West Lakes Parkway. So if that's part of your normal commute, we encourage you to avoid that area where they take care of that as quickly as possible. All other major roadways around the metro reading green at this time. But as we heard from Taylor, as we heard from Elias this morning with your local live coverage of the devastation that happened yesterday in central Iowa, you want to avoid those areas where tornadoes made their way through, like the downtown area of Marshalltown, over by Bondurant. You see they were having to detour traffic. And also by the Vermeer plant in Pella, which is east of their community as well. Those are also areas that they're saying, please stay away so they can take care of what happened yesterday with all that devastation.
We have hundreds of homes that were affected by this storm and families everywhere in the whole central Iowa area. So again, we'll keep a tab on that too. I also have to remember some animals may have been affected too. So hopefully you can stick around. We're going to take care of a little bit of business and we're going to come back and visit with the Animal Rescue League of Iowa and see if they had any increase in their activity there and some of the other special things they have going on this weekend too. That's all coming up next on CW Iowa Live.